Hey everyone, Dave here. Welcome to a new Raid Shadow Legends video. In today's video, what I want to talk to you about is stats or minimum stats needed for certain types of champs. And this video is going to be focused on early to mid game. If you're going into in-game, Doom Tower Hard, Gold 5 in Arena, or like more difficult content, then this video is not for you. Again, this is early to mid game focus because we have some soul stones. Oh, come on, whatever. Let's open them first, and then we'll jump into talking about the stats and all of this because, like, everybody likes some shards being pulled with their soul stones or otherwise. So, let's see if we get anything good out of these today. Well, not even an epic. Well, as we say it, no. Fake Retrexa. Not even a Lego. Well, if I say it, I get it, then let's say it. Not every time, I guess. Okay, so let's open these two middle ones that we got from the events. Oh, trash. What else? Okay, I'll take a 3-star Vrask. I'm using my Vrask a little bit, so yeah, nothing exciting there. So let's start talking about stats. So, who is the first champ you'll ever build on your account? That's going to be your starter champ, your Kale, your Aethel, your Elaine, or whoever you're going to pick, even Gaelic. But anyways, the main build that you have for your starter champ, which is just like the lifesteal set that you'll get in the first few days, it's focusing on farming arena. Before focusing on anything else, before focusing on dungeons, before focusing on clan boss and all of this, farming arena, and to be specific, brutal 12-3. So let me show you. So you go to the last stage of arena and you farm stage 3 of it. Brutal 12-3. Why is that? Because this will give you the best combination of silver and experience for champs you're training. Why do you need that early on? Because you want to train champs to build food for your second 6-star and third 6-star and all of that. So if you're focusing on experience and you don't care about silver, you go to 12-6. If you just want silver and you don't care about experience, you go farm spider. If you can farm at least level 10 or 11 there, and you get plenty of silver with no experience. Okay, so 12-3. So the first stats you'll build will be on your campaign farmer. I had this sheet and I might display them even over. I take them off the screen. What are the minimum stats you need there? And you'll get these easily with the starter set or any other gear. I'm talking about that you've been playing for a few weeks and now you started looking in stats, because before this, whatever gear you have, you throw it on your champs and that's it. So you need 2.5k attack, 2500 attack on your campaign farmer, because what's your aim there? You want to decrease the campaign farming from like 1 minute, which you'll probably have towards the beginning, to 30 seconds or 20 seconds. The faster you do it, the more runs you can have out of this. And yeah, it's more efficient time-wise. To do this, you need to be able to nuke the whole wave, just to kill the whole wave with one hit. That's why champs like Bellower or Fellhound are perfect for this, because they have AoEs on all their abilities, or on A1 basically. So you want to hit, and it's done. Okay? So what attack you want? Minimum 2.5 or 3k attack. Crit rate, preferably 100%, especially if you're using the champ elsewhere. But anything above 70 is okay. Crit damage, if you can get 100 or more, that's good enough. And speed, you want 180, 190, because if it's a champ without all AoE skills, and I'll show you examples of this now, probably you'll need them to take a couple of turns and get back to their AoE fast enough, so that run won't take so long. For your campaign farmer, you're not planning on getting hit at all. You're killing the waves before getting hit. You don't care about HP, you don't care about defense, you don't care about resistance, and you don't care about accuracy. It's hit, 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 all you care about. Take a screenshot of the stats, that's what you're building towards, okay? So let's see now. 12-3. My skull crown is my traditional farmer there. So why AoEs are so important when you're doing those hit, hit, hit? I'll show you now. My skull crown is doing it in like 8 seconds with food. So you see, moving to the next wave, hit, and that's it. So that's what you want. What if, let's choose someone, I just want to show you what would happen if we have someone who needs to reset their stats. My Skull Crown and my Phoenix are probably overtuned for the numbers I'm showing you, but this is what you want to see. So he'll take a couple of A1s to get back to his AoE, and then he will start nuking this. Timing wise, that should be what you're looking at. Even if the stats are a bit overtuned, you won't choose Phoenix as your campaign farmer unless you don't have anyone better, but he will do it in around 30 seconds. If your campaign farmer, a few weeks into the game, when you actually start to build champs, is doing it in more time than this, then you should consider enhancing that build because you really need to save on the time there. Let me move to my Aethel. Aethel is going to be more realistic, stats wise. She's a perfect example for the starter. Your Kale should do like this. And again, I'll show you the build on my Aethel because she will be the closest to the stats I'm showing you. Maybe she will just be a bit faster because I'm using her in Doom Tower Hard Rare Secret Room. You see, she's getting back to her skills, especially with that A3 into 2-1. 14 seconds, that's what you want to see. So let me check Aethel's build, Aethel's builds area. Let me go down, 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 and okay. So that's my Aethel. What you care about, like I said, 2.5k attack, as close to 100% crit rate as possible, and some crit damage. And she's a bit fast, like I said, but even if she's a bit slower for your account, that's totally fine. So this is the first type of champ that you want to build, your campaign farmer. And when you grow older and older into the game, when you move more towards in-game, you want to keep that campaign farmer dedicated. If it's your main nuker in the beginning, that's fine, but then probably other champs will be built differently. So that's your farmer. What if this nuker or damage dealer is built for dungeon waves? If you notice the difference here, I started adding more stats. So again, I'm talking early to mid game up to level, let's say 17 dungeons max. You need the same speed, you need the same stats, you need more attack. And what I've added here, if you notice, accuracy is not important, resistance is not important, talking about damage dealers here. I've added some HP and some defense. Why? Because realistically, early on, in a budget team, you will get hit. You will have revivers, you will have healers, you will have support champs. But this damage dealer needs to be able to take a hit. If they are too squishy, they will get killed from the waves when they hit back. And you need the higher attack because going up to, like, let's say level 17 dungeons, the waves will hit back and they will hit harder. So you need higher attack, higher crit rate if you can afford it, and crit damage. But the most important thing is to add more HP and defense if they don't have them already, just to be able to survive till you reset your abilities and take that second and third hit. And if you note here on my Aethel build, if we go back to it, maybe I should have kept it there. It's not too difficult. Yes, my gear is good, but you see, like 2k defense, 30k HP, that's sort of doable there. So this is the second type of damage dealer that you want. Usually in the beginning, like I said, these are going to be the same one, which is your starter champs, and these stats are not too hard. What you will be lacking in the beginning, I would say speed. Everything else is achievable. Probably in the beginning you'll be around 150 speed. That's okay. Try to put some more speed when you get better pieces of gear there. Okay. What's the third type of damage dealer that you want for that count? Now we're talking about arena. And the stats on the screen here, let me repeat again because someone will put the comment out there. That's early to mid game. This is up to gold 1, maximum gold 2 in arena. When we're talking arena, let me first target something here. That speed, this is not fixed. Go watch my early arena videos. Uh, you need this to be in tune with the rest of your team. You need your damage dealer to go directly after your debuffer. You need them all to go after one another, being speed tuned, so the enemy team won't cut you in. So again, you see from 3.5k now I'm increasing the attack you need to 4k because your main target, if you have a go first arena team, your main target is to kill the wave, kill the enemy team without them taking a turn. Of course, here I'm talking about a go first team. What if it's a go second team? Good question. Let me address this after we finish talking about it. So, if we talk arena and high win probability, because you need to stay in gold 1, gold 2, you need to farm those medals for the arbiter missions, you need 100% crit rate. If you can't achieve it, be as close to it as possible. Now, crit damage makes the difference because, like I said, you need the attack, the crit rate, and the crit damage just to kill that enemy team in one hit. So, you need 150% or so crit damage. If you can't achieve these numbers, get as close to them as possible. What if you're building as a go second team? If your main damage dealer is not attack based, what if it's HP based? You have Magnar, great damage dealer, one of the best. He's an epic, easier to get, easier to book, and easier to build. Then you don't care about the attack because the damage is not attack based, you care about HP. What HP you should have in your HP based damage dealer? I would say minimum 50k. You can get 50k, get 40, 45. Because that's usually, just to let you know, HP and defense based damage dealers, their multipliers are usually less. That's why most people focus on attack based damage dealers. But Magnar is great if you got anyone like Sir Nick or who else? Taras, yeah, of course. Anyway, those are HP based damage dealers. If you can build them with 50k or more, as much HP as you can stack, if you achieve those stats, forget about attack if we're talking HP, stack as much HP as possible there. What's good about HP and defense based damage dealers? They are tanky by default, and the more tanky they get, the harder they hit. So that's that. If we talk defense, you need the same numbers but in defense. So you need minimum 3000 defense to hit hard on a defense based damage dealer. So these are the stats for the arena. Again, maximum gold 1 or gold 2. One other factor, this is not arena focus here. What will increase the attack of your attack based damage dealer? Putting attack up. Having Gorgorab run in front of them. Having Arbiter run in front of them. Attack up will increase your attack. Having attack aura. But usually in arena, if you are in a go first team, you have a speed aura, not an attack one. If we talk go second, you have 3.5k defense, and you put a defense based aura that will increase your defense more. HP based, probably you can have an HP aura within the team, but no buffs will increase your defense. Defense up will increase your defense for your damage dealer using a Seeker or a Seifi or basically any champ, Sparker Sentinel, any champ who will put defense up on your team. So that's for your arena damage dealer. Who else do we have here? Debuffer. What's a debuffer? Someone who put one of these red debuffs on the enemy, making them weaker, making them take damage. What stats do you need on your debuffer, on your war maiden, on your poisoners, and all of this? Because even if this debuffer is doing damage, like a poisoner for example, you don't care about their damage stats. Because the damage here is being done by the HP burns. It's being done by the poisons. So we don't care about attack, crit rate, or crit damage. We want why I have the 190 plus speed here, because that's what I was saying about speed tuning if you're talking an arena situation or even in dungeons. In dungeons, you want your debuffer, the one who will put weaken or defense down, to go before your damage dealer. So the rule of thumb is that your debuffer should be faster than your damage dealer, your straight damage dealer. What accuracy would you need? You see here, if we're talking about dungeons, it's more or less the same based on the dungeon level multiplied by 10. So if you want to be consistent on level 17, you need 170. You need 190 plus because probably also early on you will use the same debuffer for arena, for dungeons, and for even for clan boss. So that's the stat there. What I put here, because also a debuffer is generic, it's not specific to arena or whatever. You want to put some HP and defense on them. These are the same numbers I had for the dungeons because they will be used in dungeons. They should be able to take a hit till your support champ heal them. Okay? We have a sort of a hybrid or a mixed state. Now you're getting deeper into mid game. You have the buffers like War Maiden, who does apply defense down, but she also hits hard, and her hits are is based. Her damage is based on attack. So if you achieve this number, start giving her some attack, crit rate, and crit damage. So she will help you also with the damage, with taking the waves down. If we talk about someone like Tyrell, he's also a debuffer. He puts defense down, but he's defense based. So stack as much defense as you can on him, and he will do more damage. And then again, crit rate and crit damage after you achieve these priority stats. All the stats that I left blank here on the screen, that means that they are not a priority for this specific type of champ. Okay, so now we talked about the debuffer. What comes next? Your reviver, your healer, your support champ. Usually the priority you focus on here, you see down there, I don't care about all of the blank stuff, is for that reviver healer to be tanky. That will help in two things. First thing is that they would be able to take a hit without taking much damage, and they will be still standing there to do the revive, to do the heal, to support your champs. So number one, they need to be as tanky as possible so that they can support the champs. Number two, when they have higher HP and defense than the other champs, that means that the waves, if we talk about dungeon waves or in the arena, if you're facing an opponent, they won't get targeted. If you have a single hit, single target damage dealer attacking from the other team, they will be too tanky and the AI in the game will just target someone weaker. So they are sort of double protected so they can do their task. If you notice here, it's the first time I talk about resistance. And I'm talking here also about arena, if you talk go second team or whatever. For early mid game, 200 resistance should be enough, so you won't get debuffed. If the enemy team got one of those nasty debuffs, they won't land on you. Probably it's tougher to build resistance early on. So what I would say, if you focus on, here is the priorities. You don't want your reviver healer to go too slow, because even for some revivers that their heals are built on A1, you want them to go as fast as possible, like Wither or Doom Priest or Director Drath. But I'm talking average here. I'm being generic, so of course that doesn't apply to everything in the game. This is generic. Okay. You don't want them to go too slow, because if they go too slow, they won't take enough turns to get back to those heals and revives. You want them tanky as possible, and then add resistance. At least 100, I would say. If you want them to survive, you want at least 100, so you'll have a half decent chance of resisting those nasty debuffs coming from the other end. Okay? This is for your reviver and healer. Last role here in my basic budget team comp is your speed booster or buffer. Those are the ones who will put attack up on your attack-based damage dealers, or defense up on your defense-based damage dealer. Those are the ones who will put defense up and strengthen on your team, or block the buffs so the team won't get damage. These usually want them to go as fast as possible. You need those buffs on you before you get hit, and you need those buffs of you before you attack if they're increasing your damage, and you need them to get back to those useful skills as much as possible. And then again, because you use them in dungeon and everywhere, you need those stats on them. Of course, even if it's speed up, you also need them going first in the team as fast as possible. It's not hard if you put your fastest speed boots and all speed gear with speed substats, it's not that hard to get to these stats. Okay, so that's the last roles that I had there. I don't want to make this video too long. Let me just go back. I want to just leave those numbers here in case you want to take a screenshot of them and use them later on. For your campaign farmer, you want 2.5k attack at least, 70 crit rate, 100 crit damage, or as much as you can afford, and then around 180 plus speed. A note about crit rate, crit damage. Crit rate is capped as 100. If you stack more crit rates than 100, it won't matter. It won't increase your damage. But crit damage, you can stack as much as you want. That's why in the crazy arena builds, like if we see, well, I wouldn't say my builds crazy. They are decent. Maybe my Baron and Hiji got the best builds. So if you note here, like my Baron is at 100, exactly 100% crit rate because he doesn't benefit from more like crit rate beyond that. But crit damage, I want him even to be at 300 if I can afford it, but I can't. So yeah, that's a crit rate, crit damage story there. So back to the basics. Your campaign farmer, these are the stats you want. Moving into dungeons, you want to give them a bit of health and HP and defense to make sure they can take a hit because those fights are longer and you will take a hit from the waves or from the boss. Going into arena, you're not depending on being hit, so you focus on more attack, more crit rate, more crit damage, and speed tuned with the other members of the team. If it's HP or defense based, remove the attack and add here 50k HP or 3.5k defense minimum, and you should be good to go. Your debuffer, speed wise, first three stats don't matter. Speed wise, they should go before your damage dealer, directly before your damage dealer. Accuracy and speed, 190 should be okay, or as close to this as you can get as you're climbing up to level 17 dungeons and below and above, sorry. And then HP and defense, give them thumb because again they will get hit. Your reviver healer, your main support champ. It's okay for them to go a bit slower, but not too slow, and stack them with as much HP and defense as possible, and then add some resistance as much as you can. I'd prioritize HP more than defense, depending. If it's PvE, make sure they are not lower than 2.5k defense, and then stack HP. If it's PvP and climbing more into gold, HP makes more sense than defense because when they put defense down on you, or some nukers got ignore defense with the savage gear or with certain skills, then they will ignore all of your defense or part of it. They cannot ignore your HP. So PvE, dungeons and stuff, 2.5k defense and then stack HP. PvP or arena, focus more on HP than defense. And stack resistance again. Don't make them go too slow. Last roll, or if we talk turn order, that should be the first. Your speed booster, your buffer. If it's speed booster, definitely your fastest gear on the account. Some HP and defense, so again, if it's in dungeons and stuff, they will survive. If it's not a speed booster, if it's just a buffer that goes after the speed booster, it can be a bit slower, but again, should be second in line, if not first, before your debuffers, and then your damage dealers will go last. If you have a slow reviver healer, then they will go last. Okay, that's it for that basics for like what stats you need in which type of champs. Go back into the video. I'll try to put time codes while I'm uploading this. So if you want to jump back and forth or come revisit the video later to check what stats you need for which type of champs, you can jump directly to it. Keep the likes and subscribes coming. We really need them to hit that mark, and I'll see you next time. Bye.